Hello love, today our goal is to reconquer all of humanity's land in Total War Warhammer 3 using nothing but power armors and mechas. Because the vile xenos have occupied all of our ancestral lands, leaving only a few desperate remnants of human resistance alive. We begin with Karl Franz, an ultra-humanist who espouses perfectly reasonable ideologies like the only good xeno is a dead xeno. Backing him up are Todd Howard's strongest warriors. Power armors on mechanical horses, power armors with spear rifles, and power armors exercising their Second Amendment rights. And, most importantly, the ultimate defenders of American democracy, 2 giant mechas. My first action as the Emperor is to put down this illegal riot. These traitors are demanding ridiculous things like universal suffrage and xeno voting right. Too bad for them, the warm hand of humanity is just. As my mechas unload their autocannons straight into the protest lines. I then reaffirm that my beliefs are highly inclusive and unisex by running their female archers down with my power armor horsemen. The rest of their front line is quickly taught a valuable lesson on why healthcare is a privilege, not a human right, as the power armor troops gun them down to the last man. With their leadership collapse, I march Karl through the remaining cities in Reikland to violently restore orders. By turn 5, the province is fully secured via power armor diplomacy. I start working on a gunsmith in Altdorf, as his first tier allows us to recruit power armor horsemen. I then look outwards to our next target. To the east, emo bloodsuckers. North, greenskin and skins. South, tree huggers and corpse huggers. Thus, I set my sight east on null, because they sit on a Raytheon factory that will massively upgrade our troops' ballistics. As a backup, I send a scout caravan south to the Italian land just in case the local undead there try to jump us out of blood-sucking solidarity. With that, I immediately launch a crusade against the Court of the Night. Null falls instantly to my superior auto-resolve button. The vampire retaliate by scrambling a massive army to Wiesenberg. So, to play safe, I perform the classic German maneuver, thrusting into Camperbad and the blighted towers so that Karl can quickly redeploy if the vampire is trying to frame Marcus. But, overwhelmed by Karl's sharp jawline and motion, they come begging for peace, offering to sweeten the deal by sucking his toes. And if you want to protect your toes from the Emperor, hit the like and subscribe button right now. Too bad for them though, Karl has already slid into a Russian baddie's DM, and it seems like there's still survivors up north, so there will be no peace treaty at all. The situation immediately after might look dire, as we have like 6 power armors and mecha boys against 2 undead armies. Too bad for them though, my mechas fire 300 rounds per minute. Sure, their outnumber is like 1 to 34, but our troops are extremely heavily armored. A skeleton punching power armors is about as effective as you trying to 1v1 a brick wall. Whilst Karl evicts the local vampire juglords, the Xeno sympathizer back at home have risen up again. It must be another day that ends with Y, so Karl has to slide into another girl's DM, Elspeth von Traken. And as the Empire's #1 emo girl before the invention of Twitch, Elspeth specializes in using dark magic to shake money up sims. Despite her rate aren't really cash flow friendly, I still have her recruit a few more armor horsemen. Putting down the revolt is extremely unfair for the enemy. Seeing us completely army march the Eastern Vampire, the Southern French Corpse Huggers and Mushroom Boys decide to declare war. I quickly upgrade our gunsmith to a foundry so we can start churning out tier 3 power armor units. Knowing that a 2-front war is completely untenable, I renegotiate the peace deal with the Eastern Vampires. Naturally, the price has gone up. They have to suck at least 3 toes. He couldn't get all 3 in. With that, I march Karl southwards to deal with the Bretonian problem, while Elspeth recruit a fresh army. To speed up her recruitment, I use the Imperial Decree to forcefully conscript her tier 3 Twitch sims. Karl's first battle against a max stack vampire army of Black Knight results in a Pyrrhic victory. Sigma bless my auto-resolve. Thus, I christened the captured fortress Liberty, knowing we are bringing back democracy to France, just under new management. Heinrich Kemmler instantly folds and begs for the one-toe peace treatment, but Karl is fully locked in and keeps bursting. Elspeth Twitch donated army marches northeast, to reclaim the coast. With her is humanity's latest innovation, power armor horsemen with grenade launchers. Our noble goal is to liberate human populace from xeno oppression. And definitely not because of the riches of Marienburg. Naturally, despite our peaceful offering of a mass graves, local sympathizers still rise up to advocate for the xenos. They even managed to steal a few steam tanks. But as the greatest Call of Duty player of all time, Joseph Stalin always said, tanks are just imaginary concept when you have enough bodies to throw at them. Back at the Bretonnian front, by turn 27, we managed to purge the last of the baguette-eating vampires, only for the heretical Norskans to instantly declare war on us. So, I start blasting. But, unlike the other factions, these guys brought armor-piercing weapons. Together with surrounding our troops, our power armor infantry and mechas stand no chance. So, I fall back to the good old reliable. Just auto-resolve them. With the front expanding, I upgrade the foundry into an engineering workshop. Finally, we can recruit early mechas. To pilot this expansion, I recruit a third lord, Boris Todbringer, a professional xenophobe, ready to cite per capita on any statistic needed. Why is that necromancer, who makes up 0.1% of the population, commits 99% of all grave robberies? Think about it. That's why I'm sending him and Elspeth east to restart the human-vampire war, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, pushing deep into Slovenia to clear off crackheads and prep the land for redevelopment. We're going to build a big, beautiful parking lot here. With our incursion, we'll also discover more human survivors, which I quickly ally to use as meat shields in the future. Karl, on the other hand, has been chasing Grom across the south of France. Every time I pump his face full of lead, he pops up behind us and attacks guerrilla warfare. Unfortunately for him, a 400-pound goblin is not very stealthy. Karl immediately sends his obese ass straight to Gork and Mork. But as Grom burns at the stake, the sheer grease of his barbecue-flavored fat begins to destabilize reality itself. The end is nigh. The end time is a cataclysmic event where the AI throws absolutely everything at us. To survive, we need a massive war chest. Taking inspiration from the honest business practices of Timu merchants, I offer Grand Cartean highly legitimate trade deals, scamming them out of their entire GDP, and use their generous donations to rush an engineering guild hole. With only 10 turns left until the apocalypse, I blitz straight into Castle Dragonhof, Vlad's capital, and auto-resolve him to death, ending the vampire problem once and for all, and uniting the south of the empire. I then fairly give out the new titles to the lords, making sure that everyone gets someone else's land. Humanity must be united, but they can't unite against me. Next, I aggressively push for full control of Bretonnia. If my doctrine in Pokemon lore is correct, eyesight are typically weak to being shot at by a blazing mortar. Let it rip, boys! These artillery mechas are humanity's premier solution against anything with more than 46 chromosomes. With Bretonnia secured, we officially restored one of the 4 regions back under humanity's hand. Karl then heads down to Italy to hunt rats. It's all fun and game until they drop a nuke on you. Just as Karl arrives at Skavenblight to exterminate the rats, it's turn 57 and the end times are here. All of the crises activate at once. Was it because I forgot to change the game settings and the end times start early? Maybe. Oh, and it's 5 times more powerful than usual. Our immediate issue are 33 Huggers armies spawn in France, 10 Hantavirus armies in Skavenblight, northern invasions, and even more tree huggers. Thankfully, we already murdered Vlad, else we will have to fight an invasion of vampires from the east too. Lads, at this moment, cortisol is spiking, we must lower it with music. K-pop? No. J-pop? No. It's G-pop. Let's show these xenos what we're fighting for kawaii German girls. Using Lightning Strike, Karl isolate their armies, allowing us to frame mock them one by one, instead of getting gang mocked. Karl butchered them. No infested, disease-ridden rat can defeat a man fueled by German anime music. We cut them down to just 3 armies remain before Karl runs out of movement points. But we overextended. The remaining rat army ambushed us, throwing 3 full stacks of Hell Pit Abomination directly into our mecha boys. I tried to pull out, but my game was not strong enough. Karl is the only survivors. Thankfully, Todbringer is pushing up from South Italy. I force feed the rats or Timu vaccine. If it works, they become normal rats. Great! But if it doesn't, even better. Skaven Blood is finally under our control, securing Italy. That makes 1 out of 4 regions reconquered, or since we just lost Bretonnia. Up north, Wolfram Herdvig, a man fluent in 50 different languages, as long as they are English and violent, is stabilizing the region by turning everyone into fertilizer. But the most annoying front is Bretonnia. I have Wolfram execute the art of the deal, bribing the High Elf to attack the Wood Elves. Still, these communistic elves begin enacting the fall of Saigon across our French lands, as if being French wasn't suffering enough. Thankfully, the absolute mad lad, Maris Lightdorf, is holding back 7 armies by himself. I picture the siege as like the DMZ, you know, where both sides blast music and send balloonful of shite to trash talk each other. I sent Elspeth to break the siege. Together, they cut the enemy down and strongly remind them that America didn't lose the Vietnam War, but it's the elf-like behavior like them that violated the treaty. Which really begs the question, is it a war crime if no one is left alive to hear the elves burning? But before we can introduce them to Sigma and basic clothing, Maris is ambushed and killed. Using that momentum, they begin their Tet offensive. Despite an army full of mechas, we just don't have enough troops to hold against the tree tide. So I have Elspeth use their guerrilla tactics against them and ambush their straggler armies. Using the Imperial military-industrial complex, I begin printing replacement armies. As long as we can trade one of ours for 4 of them, eventually the elves will die. To ensure that they stay dead, I pave over the Oak of Ages to build a massive Amazon warehouse. After hunting down the last elf remnants, Bretonnia is finally back under humanity's hand. That's 2 out of 4 regions reconquered. Up north, only the ogres can barely put up a fight, but because of their round and aerodynamic bodies, they are very amendable to being shot at. Even Hephaestus on his stolen land couldn't do anything as the Mechas walked straight into his fortress. And they start blasting. I mean, Nurgle's warriors are strong, but not strong enough to being shot at by a 20mm autocannon at point blank. With that, the Empire land is completely reconquered. We have 3 out of 4 regions done. Thinking I have some time, I decided to also reconquer England. I have to give credit to Creator Assembly here. They didn't have to make England super realistic, but this looks exactly like home. A land filled with lava, a heavy tinge of corruption, plus the miserable atmosphere. But perhaps this miserable land was cursed for a reason. Stepping foot on it instantly triggered the second Vermintide. A torrent of red pour out up north. Oh my god. So, I marched everything up north. Unlike our last fight, we now have double the troops. And this time, it's a war of extermination. I use a tried and tested method of lightning strike plus auto resolve to thin out the rats. With our large armies, the front line no longer breaks under the torrent of hantavirus spreaders. The rat respawn by ambushing our exhausted armies. Sometimes we survive, but even when we don't, we make sure to drag as many of them to Sigma as possible. Ultimately, they just can't out-replenish our military-industrial complex as I pump more and more armies into the meat grinder, culminating in the final siege of Hell Pit. I open negotiation by immediately shooting anything taller than 2 inches. Because of the Mechas fat asses that keep getting stuck at the door, we have to be creative with our entrance. Then, it's just a matter of wiping the rats out section by section. This is what we call expert xeno pest control. Call me now at 1-800-I-HATE-ELVES and get a free consultation today. With that, the Kislev region is back under humanity's hand, and our righteous crusade is complete. Hello love, this video sure takes long to make. I hope you enjoy it, and do tell me if you want me to continue this campaign and purge the rest of the Xeno from the map. Okay, bye.